There we go. Now it says we're live.
Hi.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Magic Hour with Anna Stone, PhD, over here to my lovely co-host here, and
Yes.
I'm Stephanie Siren, and we're here today to talk about what, Anna?
Well, we're talking about the importance of healing your own traumas and hang-ups or triggers and things like that. If you are currently or are planning to be working with magic, and why it's very important.
Exactly. Like a
Yeah.
magical practitioner, correct?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So like to just clear that up, if you're a magical practitioner, so like a magician, a witch, a healer, something of that nature.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Because I mean, there's a lot of reasons why, but there's a lot of people that we see online that try to do magic. It doesn't work for them, or it works in funky ways, like not exactly what they wanted, like maybe goal adjacent, but not the goal, um, or backfiring altogether, or just nothing, like no result. And they don't understand why. And there's a lot of reasons why that could be, but the main one that I believe, through the fact that 1 in 4 people have trauma, is the fact that people have unhealed trauma, because there's a lot of
Right.
problems that can come from this. And
Well,
we
okay,
talk about
so in magic, right, it's all about intent, right? Like our intent
right,
matters with
right.
everything.
I mean, that
And
is
so
100% it.
okay, and so if you're unhealed, how are you going to understand your own intent, right?
Well, right. This is like it's kind of it's kind of similar to like the gun laws that we have in California, where you have to wait 7 days, right, like to buy a gun, because they
Right.
don't want you to be angry, upset, and then going out and purchasing a gun and doing some crazy stuff. Right? So it's like witchcraft is the same way, magic work is the same way. Like you can be upset, you can have a bad day, some horrible thing could happen, and if you're not grounded and healed like properly, then you might fly off the handle and do something that you're going to regret and can't take back, or just incurring bad karma for yourself, so there should be like a cool off appear, like regulation, emotional regulation
Mhm.
prior to jumping into any magical.
Right. And that's totally part of healing. That's totally part of it. And I think also, I mean, what was paramount for you about your magic? Like how have you seen your magic get better with healing?
Okay, so well, for me, I used to do magic for like everything, to solve this problem, to solve that problem, okay. um and yeah, it works. I mean, my magic has never not worked, but except for one time it backfired, but with a love spell. But I've said that story a million times. But the thing is that my goals change.
Yeah.
So look, I'm just gonna be pretty harsh about this. I'm gonna be pretty harsh, and it's probably not gonna be a popular opinion, but that's because I'm me and I'll say whatever the hell I want. If you're doing magic for like mundane ass shit, like I don't like this person, make this something bad happen to them, or get my ex back for me, or whatever, you're low class magical practitioner. I'm sorry.
I,
If you're
I
doing
I agree with that.
yeah, if
Yeah.
you're low vibrational. If
Mhm.
your magic should be all about enlightening yourself, bettering yourself, like helping yourself transverse like this earthly plane, like it should be those kinds of things, like so we can reach, like self-actualization, self-realization. Like those should be the goals for like actual magic, because if you look back in history, that was literally the purpose of the occult, of magical practice, was to know thyself, right?
Right.
So cursing your neighbor for giving you the cross eye, or cursing your ex-boyfriend because they dumped you, is nowhere in line with that. Those are all distractors from the path of self-actualization and self-realization.
Right.
And
Those are
it's
petty.
they're petty. And like magic, it might work for you, okay, but like that's not its purpose. Its purpose is to for better, like to better the situation, not to make it, not revenge. You're not karma. You're not the judge end all be all either, right? Like, so you got to remember that when we're talking about petty things, like, and I've done it. I've done it. Like, I am not saying I'm without sin here. Like, I have definitely been that person But I see now that after many years of therapy and processing the trauma, that my reaction to things, if someone will say to me, "Oh my God, just do a spell," and I'm like, that's the last thing I would do, like right now.
Right.
Like it's not for that. What about you? What do you think about that? Like, what do you think the purpose is?
Absolutely. I think healing helps discernment because when you're experiencing things in an unhealed state, you're going to victimize yourself and you're going to also victimize everyone around you because you're already like you've set fire to the boat and it's sinking, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
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 So
That is
right there, right away, like if you're there at that point, like you should not be practicing magic.
right. So yeah,
It just
definitely.
is. And personally, I have seen my relationship with my magic flourish and get better as I committed myself to the things that I said I would set out to do on this path. As I healed, as I did things for myself, as I understood my responsibility, because it is a responsibility.
Right.
I
Right.
think that's a big
Of course.
one
Yeah.
that is taken too lightly. People don't look at the path as a responsibility. And also, I mean, when you're working with the universe, right? And your magic is this, you're aligning your will to the will of the universe, okay?
Right.
But see, here's the thing, the universe doesn't stop what it's doing, it doesn't change for you. You actually change for it. And
Yeah.
that's because you got worked. And that's because you're healing. And then all of a sudden, that's why things are making sense. And that's why your
Right.
magic is getting better. You're bending to the will so that you can have a unification.
And that's the whole thing is about, yeah, it's about letting go and giving it up truly, which is easier said than done. So I think like it's important that we just define what trauma is and what, what's the definition of psychological and emotional wounds, right? Because those matter. So some people might think that they don't have trauma because it doesn't compare to their friends or family members. Okay. So let's just say that, trauma is very broadly defined as an emotional response to an event or series of events that the individual perceives as deeply distressing or life threatening. And it can include physical harm, emotional abuse, neglect, loss, any other experience that overwhelms the psyche and the ability to cope. That's what trauma is. So it doesn't matter if it's ongoing, if it was in the past, if it is a one-time thing, it doesn't matter. There's acute trauma, which is from a single incident, such as a car accident, sudden loss of a loved one, or like being mugged or worse, right? Then there's chronic trauma, which is repeated, prolonged exposure to highly stressful events. Like this could be even working as a cop or even a therapist, or like jobs that have a nurse, RN, ER doctors, etc. And then there's complex trauma, which involves exposures to multiple different traumatic events, often in evasive and interpersonal relationships, leading to the long-lasting effects, on health and mental stability. So, but then there's psychological wounds, right? Like, and those are wounds that are they are the lasting impacts of the trauma that was experienced previously, right? And those look like abandonment issues, trust issues, self-worth issues. Then there's also emotional trauma, which is the intense, overwhelming feelings that accompany the traumatic events that we experience. And those can range from fear to anger, sadness, helplessness, to more like complex feelings of like confusion or betrayal. And these are never a place to be acting from with magic. Like they're just not. This is not, you need to be focused. And if you cannot focus to pick up your kids from school properly or go to work and interact with your client base or customers properly, you have no business doing magic at that point. Like, if
Oh,
you
I agree
out,
wholeheartedly with that. Yeah.
if you can't get out of bed, if you can't eat a normal meal, like if you know what I mean, like if you're experiencing active trauma, like from like losing a boyfriend or girlfriend, etc., like if you're can't function like normal, then you should have zero business doing any magic about it. It seems at the time you know exactly what you want to do. You don't. Your brain cannot function properly with those neurotransmitters being flooding your brain. It's not possible. So it's like literally not possible. So you might think you have all the answers. I'm going to just do some magic, but you don't. And this can lead to worse outcomes, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted to take a second and say hello to everyone that's in our chat right now.
Yeah, hi guys.
Because I was really glad to see you guys on here already. Hi. We're so happy to be back, and we had a great break, and we did not get swooped up by the feds because of our foil hats. So that's
no,
good.
But someone steal the design from me. Remember?
Oh yeah, somebody was going to design one.
No, they did. Right. You found it. You found it. They had a wait list that's over a year long.
Nice.
Remember, you showed it to me at the camping trip.
Oh, I did. I don't even remember. Oh, that's right. Oh, okay. MIA. She created a whole foil hat line. That's right. I forgot all about that.
Right after the week that we aired that episode, then that came out with a preemptive, like, we're going to be having these available. Stay tuned so you can order it. And then another week later, it was like, here's the prototype, which looked exactly like my hat that I had online, like on that show. I was like, what? Okay.
And so, Anna, I think what prompted this episode, I wanted to say to everybody, what prompted this episode of us talking about why it's important to heal when you're a magician or a practitioner is because we were discussing how, what the process is when you get initiated, right?
Right. Yes,
and how it basically can ruin lives. But the reason that it does that is it's by design, right? So that we have discernment, so that we know what we're made of, right? So that's why we need to be healed, because you need to be able to know thyself.
Right. And it sounds so easy, but it's not. Really trauma leaves. Here's how. Okay, so you could be like, okay, fine, who cares, guys? Like, I got to deal with some trauma. Who gives a shit? Okay. Well, let me tell you how it can actually physically impact your ability to do magic. Okay. So, because it's not just as simple as, I have some trauma. It causes lasting effects that you can't see. Okay, but they're there.
Yep.
So the first of them is subconscious, like subconscious imprints are left behind by these wounds. And this impacts how you perceive the world, how safe you are in the world, how you react to other people, and how you respond to challenges. Okay. So if you're coming from a place of hypervigilance because of trauma, this is not normal, and it is not in a high vibrational state. That's like a panicked vibrational state, right? Then there's the triggers, like, the people that get triggered a lot by everything. That is also that's low vibrational. Like, it's like other people are not responsible.
Victim mindset,
right? Other people are not. Other people do not have to edit themselves because they might upset you because it's something you experience. That is not their problem. I'm sorry. I know that's harsh, but trust me. I'm not going to get mad at people when they say something that they had no idea I would be upset about. Like, are you, joking? But a lot of people do. And, that's, again, like low vibrational. And then there's also your impact on belief systems, right? Like, when we get betrayed, when we get screwed over, when we're devastated by loss, it can cause us to question, like, what we really believe in and, like, what's really out there for us, like, what's the meaning of everything. And depending on where you fall on that, like, you could be apathetic, you could be like, well, fuck this, or, or like, who cares? Is everything shit anyway? Like, like, let's just go all out with the bang. No, like, none of that is good. And it's muddling up your intention. There's no way you can have a intention in that mindset. Right. And it really has an influence on your magical practice because it will cloud your intentions with obsessive thoughts, intrusive thoughts, and it
Oh
also will
yeah,
block
for
your ability to
sure.
access your spiritual
Mhm.
self. Because
Mhm.
even though we do live in the same body, okay, there is a separation between us and spirit self, right? We all know that. Even science admits that. Like the mind, rather, we'll substitute the spirit for mind, okay? Because where's the mind located? We don't even know. Like, we don't know. It's not the brain, that's different, okay? So, like in this case, it's impacted, you can't access it because you're not open to like the kind of energy that is required to be able to access that part of you that's higher than you, your higher self, is not one of low victimhood vibration, right? It's not.
Mhm.
It's going to be the one of healed, calm, grounded, right? So you're not going
Right.
to be able to access and grow spiritually unless it's in a darker way, like unless it's on the opposite end of the spectrum, which that's a whole other thing. And like if that's your jam, still even the most negative magic requires a healed practitioner. Or what happens, Stephanie?
Absolutely. Oh, or what will happen?
Yeah.
Lots of backfires actually. There have been situations where I personally have blown up altars when I am unaligned. I really literally have,
I mean,
when
yeah, in the worst case scenario, it could even cause self-harm or worse.
mhm.
My boyfriend has experience with working with people that are very unstable mentally due to the nature of his, sponsorship that he does in the, like alcohol and addicts community. And he has at least five stories. I'm telling you, I think it's like 5 people he knows that has actually unalived themselves because their trauma was so great. They turned to magic, whatever they did, and then stuff started happening to them that was too much for them to handle, and they're no longer with us. So
Well,
it's
I
really
think it's
important.
yeah. I think it's important to say though, Anna, that on the magical path for anyone who's on this path, the 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 consequences are life and death always.
Right. Right. I mean,
That's
yeah. I mean,
something to understand. That's why it's so important to heal as well. I mean, our consequences aren't like what did we say the other day? People don't break up with us, they leave us for dead. You know?
I feel like I've changed that paradigm for myself these days. But yeah,
Right.
that is definitely my existence in the past. And but that stemmed from me. So again, like in the past, I would have looked at that like saying, what's wrong with me? Like, or what's wrong with all these guys? Like, why do I keep dating these douchebags? But like it was me. It was me the whole time. I was
Right,
allowing.
me too.
So, and yeah, is it crappy? Absolutely. But at any time I had the opportunity to say no, get out of my life, and I didn't do those things. So like that I had like, yeah, did I want people to feel bad for me? Of course. Back then, yeah, I did. I felt horrible. But it was me. Like I had control over that situation, even though I pretended I didn't. Does that make sense? Like, so it's about reality checking yourself as well. Um,
Mhm.
if you can't reality check yourself and come to terms with the fact that maybe you have a hand in your drama, okay? Um, because I'm going to guarantee that 99.9% of people do have a hand in their own nightmare situation that's going on.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely, either by inactivity or by activity, right? Because
right,
I mean,
exactly. One
like
way or
you
the
can
other.
sit and avoid something and it's still your fault then because
Right.
you're not handling the situation.
Right. And gosh darn, like the hello, I did that. Did I say gosh darn? Okay. Um, okay, sorry. That didn't sound like me at all. Uh, but yeah, it's a weird thing. So, but the other thing too to think about is like, you know, when we have issues with our energy field, right? Okay, so everybody knows there's an aura, okay, or our human energy field, okay,
It's about 6
and
feet out from
about
you.
6 feet, right? This is composed of various layers, including physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual body energies. So each of these things is impacted on a different level or scale from trauma. So that it matters. It matters here, and then also the chakras, the energy centers of our body. A lot of the
Mhm.
older traditions believe that the existence of these energy centers or chakras um, like held onto trauma and unresolved emotional wounds that can block or disrupt the flow of chi or energy through the centers, which then can lead to physical illness and symptoms. So
Yes.
this is, but mostly like it's kind of like the universe will kind of put a cap on you and be like, no, you can't do magic if you're this bad. Like, you know, unless you have help.
That definitely happened to me. That definitely
Did your
happened to me. I
magic
had
die
the
for a little bit?
physical symptoms. Huh?
Okay, what happened?
I've had near death experiences, and but the one that I was talking about was the physical, where it knocked me on my butt, because I was trying to pull some crap that I wasn't ready for,
Well,
like
let me
magically.
yeah. So here I'm gonna give you some symptoms of what that looks like. Okay, if you have energetic blockage, okay,
Mhm.
in your centers from trauma, it's gonna show
Mhm.
up like lack of focus, diminished intuition,
Mhm.
inconsistent results in magical workings. Like,
Mhm.
sometimes you might get something, sometimes it'll be, like I said, like goal adjacent, but not the actual goal. And then also it can distort the intention. Again, like, so unhealed wounds often influence our intentions, like sometimes in a very unconscious ways. Like, I mean, if they were all conscious, we would not have this problem. But let's take, for example, a person with unresolved anger might inadvertently channel that emotion into their magic and leading to unintended outcomes. You know,
Mhm.
and the universe is funny like that, where if you don't say things exactly how you want them, it's left up to interpretation. Okay, so
Oh, I agree, but I also want to add one to that also, which
yeah,
is there are energies that you don't understand, and when you summon them and your container, your vessel hasn't been energetically calibrated to handle that in magic, you're going to
oh
have
yeah,
a horrible time.
yeah, yeah. So that's happened to me with like just feeling absolutely depleted afterwards, like for days, like almost catatonic, that kind of stuff when I was in a much more unhealthy state. And then the other thing too, though, that I don't hear anyone ever talking about this is the projection of pain into magic. Like,
Hmm.
if we are subconsciously, like, if we're in pain and we're suffering, there's that crabs in a bucket thing, and like, where misery loves company. And it's true. It is true. Like, we're all guilty of it. We've all been there, done that, right? Where we're like not happy for people that are happy because we're just so down. Um,
Mhm.
but like that's a long time ago for me because I mean, honestly, that's like one of the first things I tackled, and it should be for on your list too. If that's how you are, you
Oh
should definitely
yeah.
because that is like gross and like it's real selfish, like right and in a bad way, selfish. You should always be happy for people that are doing well, even if you're not. Um,
Yeah, yes, but if you're coming from that angle, then you're coming from a depleted system already, and you need to start asking yourself, where are my needs not met, and how can I meet them for myself,
right.
so that I am not comparing and I'm actually looking at others like I'm happy for them. Because if I'm looking at them like I'm jealous of them or whatever, then it's definitely a depleted system. And
Right.
in this day and age, I haven't met an untraumatized person,
No,
I mean, everybody
no,
has some kind of trauma. And so it's even though we didn't do it, it's up to us to fix it.
right.
And so if you fix it, it's going to be so much better. Number one, number two, your practice is going to flourish, develop. People will feel it more because the vibrations will be higher. But you have to do the work of self love. You have
Yeah,
to,
you
have to,
do.
have to.
Yeah, you absolutely do. I just remembered that I forgot to send someone the link to this.
Mm.
Sorry. I just remembered. But
Well, now, Anna.
absolutely right. And it is, I know, I'm sorry. Just give me a second. I gotta, how am I even gonna do that? Um, so yeah, I mean, the other thing too is that with pain, right? When we're in pain, we're coming from that place. there's a huge possibility, I'm going to say it's more likely than not, that you are going to be using your magic as a way to control things rather than as a means to facilitate growth and transformation, right? It's about controlling. Like, I want this to happen this certain way, like make this person hurt, like whatever it is. Okay. It's just not, it's not good. It's not a good look. And those things, we don't know how long they last. We don't know. Like, I can't tell you how long my spells last for. I can't tell you when they expire. You know what I mean? If they ever do. But on the off chance that they don't expire, like that can be a big problem, right? Like that could be like if you send some bad energy out to somebody and you forget about it, you forgot, but did the spell forget? No. Right? Like it didn't.
No, it doesn't.
So it's like
That's why
it's
the
bad news.
responsibility comes with it, right? Is like we
Right.
have to be responsible for what we send out.
Right. And also to add to that, it's like we have a responsibility. Like the thing is that if you're, I don't know if I should say this. Okay, if you're not supposed to be doing this stuff, you won't understand what you're reading.
Yes. Oh, preach, sister. That is so true.
So it's kind of like, yeah.
As a noob, when I first started on the path, I would read certain things and go, that just doesn't make sense, or I'd have a teacher say something and I couldn't decipher it. I didn't understand why.
Right.
Now, as a seasoned vet, I understand completely why, because you have to experience it in order to understand the language.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Jackie, I was absolutely talking about you right now. Like, sorry. I realized I had to send Jackie the link, and then she just texted me and said, "I'm watching." Sorry. Okay. So yeah. So yeah, like this is it's one of those things where we just have to be very careful about what we're putting out there, because like right now seems bad, right? But at the end of the day, this is one of those things where it will pass, right? It will pass. Right. Unless you just sit in victimhood forever, which is like not a place to be in.
That's not a fun place at all. Nobody's having fun there. Nobody.
No, and there's no growth there. It's just
you know what I should definitely give I wonder, you guys, do you know what a victim mindset is when we say that, like a scarcity mindset?
Yeah,
where it's like what's the thing, where a person looks at it like there's not enough love for them, there's not enough anything for them, they're just like scarcity all the time. It's always something happening to them, and boo-hoo, boo-hoo. And it's they're never to blame, like though. They're never to blame. And then 5 years goes by and they're still doing the same thing and they're still not to blame. You know what I mean? Right. Oh, but boo-hoo, things are still happening to them. Well, it's happening because they don't understand the laws of the universe, and they're just creating more of a mess for themselves and more victimhood, because the universe said, oh, you're a victim? Okay, I'll create more things to make you feel like a victim.
Right. It's that RAS, that reticular accessing system in the brain, that constantly scans for confirmation bias to our beliefs. So quite literally, our perception is our reality. If we perceive that our life is crap and that we are victims, we will continue to be handed victim situations, like situations for us to become victimized further and things like that. So it's really important that your frame of mind is sound when it comes to where you are in the material world. Like, you can have, everyone has bad things happen, right? We all do.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's like, okay, am I going to sit here and just bitch about it? And like, or am I going to like look and see how I could possibly have a hand in this, and what can I do about it different? Like that's definitely even in our relationships, right? So I think it's manifests quite frequently in relationships and jobs the most, I would believe. Like who you pick as a partner, and then your job situation. Like if you can keep a job, if you can't keep a job, if you're constantly being underpaid, or that kind of thing. I think this shows up here frequently.
Really?
Like,
okay.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Because people, I mean, from the readings that I do, the most things people ever ask about is finances or job situation and love. So those are the two things that I think this kind of attitude problem, it is an attitude problem, it impact, because you know, if you don't believe in yourself, you don't love yourself, you're going to accept less than what you deserve from partners. You're also going to accept
And
less than
from
what
a
you deserve
job.
from work. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And also, if you don't look at money in the right energetic, you're going to look at it with a scarcity mindset, right? And so that makes sense. I can totally see that. And I have to say, like, when I do the psychic hotlines that I've done, like, all the questions are always either will he come back to me, will she come back to me, but it's mostly will he come back to me,
I know.
or will he leave his wife for me? That's another one that I get a
Well,
lot of.
yeah, I won't even read that. You know, I stopped. I refuse. I won't do it because
And
I
then
will tell you what
the
you don't want
third
to hear.
one is always when will I get money? That's yeah.
Yeah. When are you going to get off your butt and do something to make money? That's the answer.
Why are
Like,
you calling me? Why are you spending that money to call me? You know?
right. I can't tell you how many people I have that say things like, I have severe financial problems. And then they're booking $100 sessions with me. And I'm like, am I really? Like, maybe. And I won't read them again. I won't. Like, I won't do it. I'll be like, oh, okay. If they try to book with me again, I'll be like, no, like, I just won't. Because I'm not here to capitalize off people's pain, right? You know, or misfortune.
Right, exactly.
I
No, I
won't do
get
it.
you.
They get mad at, you know, I get shit for it a lot, but I'm like, if I did take your money right now, like later when you came to your senses, you'd be pissed and be like, that chick totally took advantage of me. So you can't win. It's
Yeah.
okay. That's fine. You know, I'd rather be like ethical than popular, honestly.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
but like transmuting, like there's goals here. And the reason that it's important to heal, like, is obvious. Like you want to have a better life, right? But there's, you know, benefits to healing, especially if you're on the path of like magic and witchcraft or whatever you want to call it, because the
Yes,
alchemy
because
of the
it's life or
soul,
death.
right, it's out, like, I mean, if you look at the very original text about know thyself, right, no matter what culture they come from, this message is all the same. It's about you are your own, like, God within you, you know, God's within you, not separate from you. And like also you need to know that and know it, like know it, know thyself. So alchemy of the soul is part of our process, like even in modern psychology with Eric Erickson's psychosocial, you know, psychosocial development, like that pyramid that he has about like what's important and like here's the phases of life, etc. Same thing.
Yeah.
Alchemy of the soul is the process of healing is seen as a form of alchemy, right? It's transmuting the lead of pain, lead, and suffering
Into
into the gold
gold.
of wisdom and spiritual power. Okay. Like
Right.
by confronting and healing the wounds that you have, the practitioner or, you know, will turn their past trauma into sources of strength and insight, and then thus be able to help others. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, is to perpetuate the tradition and the ability to know thyself to others that are ready for it, right? So, and I'm sorry, I'm not. Would you want someone teaching you or guiding you that had their life in shambles? I don't think so. Like, right? So, you know, it's important that we all take responsibility for ourselves. And like, it's not other people. It's not up to other people to make us feel good. It's up to us. It is. You know, even
Absolutely.
if we're,
Yeah.
even, and that goes even if we're married. Okay, if we're in like a marriage that sucks. Okay, still, you can't control anyone other than yourself. So you
Right.
have to take charge and make that situation work for you. And if that means leaving, so be it. If it means staying and working on it, so be it. Like it, but you've got to like actually face the music, right? Like about it.
Oh, that's the biggest thing is radical acceptance of where you are and self. That's part of healing as a magic practitioner as well.
What does it mean?
Because
What does radical acceptance of where you are mean?
okay, so it means your reality. What's really going on around you? What are you bypassing? What are you looking around and bypassing in your life? What are you saying, "Oh, maybe I'll put it off till tomorrow." Oh, I'm not going to do this till later when it's the perfect time. Um utilizing the power of understanding that all we have is right here in this minute. This is like the spot that you're in right now at this very minute. This is the space and time at where you're at. It's just a map of where you're at.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
what about you know, like you said bypassing, so let's talk about spiritual bypassing for bypassing trauma healing.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right,
spiritual.
right. Okay, so that looks like masking.
Okay, but what is it? What is that? When we say spiritual bypassing, what do we mean?
We mean like not doing the shadow work, not doing the hard work of looking in the mirror and looking at yourself. You can study all the Reiki, you can study all the other things you want, you know, crystals, this, that, and the other. You know, you could shove a crystal up your butt. I don't care. But it's not going to help anything if you're not working on yourself and looking at yourself and going, oh, that's my inner villain. That's where that is. Oh, why did I need that? Oh, I needed that. Let me love that inner villain and accept them. You know what I mean? And just really like embrace, because it's not about killing. It's not about neglecting that portion of yourself.
Or shaming ourselves for having
or
these
guilting.
negative traits, like, because
Right.
that's part of being human. Literally, we all have it, but you know, because of how we're raised or the things that have been said to us, we choose to try to suppress those aspects of ourselves, right? And then those and like just take the abuse, take the, you know, whatever it is, mistreatment, neglect, I don't know, betrayal. And because we don't want to make a problem, we don't want to start, you know, right? Like, so this is one of those things where we do have to embrace it. It's not about killing it. It's the opposite. It's about bring it on.
Right. Because it's really your shield. It's that's what it is. It's your shield against the people that hurt you. And so you need it. It's necessary. So that's what bypassing is leaving those parts out instead of saying, come here and let me nurture you, love you, give you a speaking platform, give you some time to express yourself, just like the inner child needs, you know, just like all these facets of self need.
Right.
And it's very important.
Right.
Because
so, and then also,
I was going to say, because if you're coming at it from just a love and light idea or a bypassing idea, you're not getting down to the nitty gritty and you're not going to do real magic. What you're doing is dabbling.
Dabblers. Yes. And I guess there's nothing wrong with dabbling, I guess. We all dabble to get into the beginning. Everybody does. That's how they get into it, right?
Well, there's some people that only dabble, though, Anna. There's some people that just dabble and that's it. Not everybody has the call.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I mean, like the you know, the crystal grannies or the tarot grannies, you know, or the eccentric auntie who lights candles for people, you know, or something.
Okay.
Like
so
that.
Okay. Yeah, I guess. Oh, I don't know. That's just so weird to me, but okay. Like, it's strange. I think my I don't know. My brain doesn't handle some conflicting data sometimes like that. It's weird. So yeah. So the other thing too is, like, when you're down and you're like victim mentality, you've given away all your personal power. So how the hell are you going to be effective at freaking focusing any of your energy towards a spell? Like, because spells are all about personal power. It's about using your own essence, your personal power to get what you want. If you're a victim, you've literally, if you like believe that that's all that's going on here, is that it's, oh, woe is me, I have bad luck, blah, blah, blah. How then do you expect to do magic? Like, do you see how that's a problem? Like, because if you just gave away all your power by letting people walk all over you and be a victim all the time, then you have no power to do magic, right? One of those things has to be true. You know, one of you like, if one is true, the other is true. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it is. So either you need to get out of that mindset, because when you do get out of that mindset, what you're doing is you're reclaiming your personal power, right? And
reclaiming or claiming, even some people have never even claimed their personal power. I had that issue. I didn't claim my personal power until I was like 43.
Right. Yeah, 45. So a fully empowered practitioner can wield their personal power with intention and precision. Somebody that is not healed cannot do those things. But and then there's also like if you're into the magical practices, okay, or the occult, or esoteric studies, or mystery schools, whatever, you're lucky then, because guess what? Ritual plays a huge part in healing from trauma. it's actually one of the main like it's one of the main ways to heal trauma, actually, which is,
Mm-hmm.
there's healing rituals, there's sacred space, there's symbolic symbols that can be used in your healing journey, right? But it's all very helpful to be in a practice already that does these things, right?
Oh,
um
absolutely. And Anna and I actually did a coven camp out this summer where we did ritual and circle with other women in our
Good.
coven, and it's very healing, and it healed a lot of each woman's trauma in the group, and I've spoken to each one since the ritual, and they all say the same thing, is that they've experienced the presence of the goddess that we invoked, and
Mhm.
they've felt her in their life has changed for the better, and they have better understanding of their place in the world.
Right. I mean, the thing is that yeah, it's about being heard and being like some time made for you special. Like, it's about for people that are abused, neglected, whatever. It's like we're not seen, our voice isn't heard. It doesn't matter when you have that with your, the fellowship that you have created within your online groups, within your personal, like in-person group, whatever it is, then that's different. It helps you get past that because you have witness to your trauma, right? That doesn't mean you have to trauma dump on everybody because that's not cool either. But like broad strokes, broad strokes.
Yeah.
And the other thing too, though, like just we're not being like all snooty, holier than thou, because we are always doing this. Like this is not a one-time process. Unfortunately, healing is continuous throughout our entire lives. Most of us get started on it pretty late, myself included. But damn, the difference between then and now is like insanity. Like it's so like I can't even relate or resonate
Yeah.
with the person I was before.
Well, I think it's also important to speak up on the fact that we did the buddy system too. I mean, in a
Yeah.
way, because when
Yeah.
we both realized that we were having parallels, we told each other, we don't want to do this anymore. We don't want this pattern anymore in our lives. So it
Right.
was like accountability, right? It was like,
Right.
okay, I'm going to tell you as is. If I think you're fucking up, I'm going to tell you, and vice
Right.
versa.
Right. I mean, like, and I've been so like, we're talking like mostly about like relationships right now in this regard with being a buddy system because our trauma stems from being abused in relationships and starting at home with our parents and then moving out of the home with our partners. And this is something that's very hard to get out of. With having men treat you like crap if you're a female, and the other way around if you're male, or either way, whatever your orientation
No
is, okay,
matter what your
no matter what,
orientation
yeah, like
is.
if
Yeah.
you are constantly trying to recreate the most strained relationship you had in your family home with your partners, like subconsciously, right? So if you had an emotionally unavailable parent that never listened to you, you're going to be constantly seeking advice, approval, and like dependency on your partner because you feel like everything you did in childhood had to be earned, like that definitely my thing was like if someone just liked me right off the bat, I was like, why? What's wrong with you? Like you know what I mean? Like there has to be something wrong because I was so used to having to prove myself to everybody. You know what I mean?
So
That's
you
what I
were creating that narrative
great.
energetically.
Yeah, but I didn't get
Yeah.
that,
Right.
and then now I get it. But so you're gonna get, and then it's gonna happen in phases too. Like you're gonna heal some of the trauma, and then guess what happens? The healing that you did now allows space for the other stuff that was underneath that trauma to come up and rear its ugly head, and it's just an ongoing process of
Isn't
that.
that fun?
So lovely.
It's just a Russian doll of fuckery.
It is. It's a microcosm of nonsense. But like I've been with my partner now for almost 10 months, right? Oh my gosh, it's like closing out to a year. And I still am running things by her. I'm still like, okay. Like, because I had such a history of not understanding properly what was right, like not knowing that I still have to get that
Mhm.
second opinion. So community is imperative. And I know that a lot of females, because I'm one, don't like other females very much because they've had bad experiences with them in the past. Like girls bullying you, whatever. right? I always had guy friends. That was like my thing. You know, I always had guy friends. I barely had girlfriends, maybe one or two my whole life, like really at any given time. But now, you know, I like caved into that finally. I was like, all right, fine. You know, it's important you find your people. Okay, number one. But when you do, like to actually give it a shot and let it might feel very weird because it does feel very strange to have like a sister type vibe with somebody, you know. I don't know. That's me anyways. Like I've had really bad, horrible female friends and they've done really awful things to me in the past. And like
Right.
literally for no reason. Like I honestly, even looking back with the ability to reflect that I have now, I still have no answer for why they would do that other than it's something with them, not me. Right. You know, that's all I can come up
Oh,
with. No.
I actually will say about mine personally, because I had the same experience.
Right.
Again, parallels.
Yep.
And I can say it's because I was masking so hard because I was faking. So whatever I was faking or I was being fake about, then I was attracting people who were also being fake.
Yep. 100%.
And
Yep.
and so that when people are fake, you can't build a bond. There's no way. It's just bravado back and forth, right?
Yep.
And there's no bond creation, there's no vulnerability, there's nothing. There's just,
So superficial.
it's just so superficial. So
Yeah.
I think that's why, because you adapted your ability to be intimate and vulnerable with another woman who is being intimate and vulnerable with you.
Right. I mean, so and that's not easy to find. Okay. So but you've got to like you can't heal alone. Like literally not possible. I had an ex that like I have an ex that a lot of y'all know about, but this person was all about I healed by myself. I didn't have to go to therapy. I didn't have to do these things. I'm gonna beg to differ on that. I'm gonna say that this person was probably the most unhinged, unhealed person I've ever met in my life, and that still holds true, I believe. Yeah, it absolutely does. And that they had no idea what they're talking about. So if you think that you can actually do it by yourself, like you're lying to yourself. And that's again, you're not
Oh,
engaging in fun, which is
and that's
radical.
the one that we talked about last year, was co-regulation,
Uh-huh.
and how there used to be a whole thing, right, about people healing by themselves and not being in a relationship by themselves, right?
Right. Yeah.
Now we know different. Now we know that you can only do so much healing by yourself, which we
Uh-huh.
did.
Yeah.
And now you have to learn the healing that happens in relationship.
Yeah. If you have relationship trauma, it required that you have another relationship that can undo that trauma for you. Like because
So,
it was
and
on
it's
your own hands.
right. And it's not just romantic, also, it's also
Nope.
friendship, right?
Yeah.
Like we're
Yep.
co regulating in those friendship wounds. We've gone
Right.
back and forth over a lot of them and really worked it out,
Right.
you know?
Like this is the first time in my life where I can be friends with a female, Stephanie, and
Mhm.
be brutally honest about
Mhm.
something that's asked of me without getting shit about it for being too blunt or for being, like rude or something because she knows how I am. Like, like she knows how I am and that's okay. Like, and it's okay. And the same with her. Like, I know how she is. So if I'm asking her a question and I get her snarky ass attitude back, I ask for it. Like, don't get mad about it. Like, and I think this also comes with the territory of just like chilling the fuck out and not being offended by goddamn everything.
Oh,
And then
for sure. For sure. And laughing at ourselves, right? And being
yeah,
humble,
because
because
God, like,
you've
yeah,
you've got to be humble by now. If you're on this path, you also have to learn how to be humble, because like we may look like we're full of ourselves and that kind of thing, but we're really just smart asses,
yeah, like
and
super sarcastic. And we make fun of ourselves and we treat ourselves like we're harder on ourselves than anyone could ever be on us. Like it's not possible. Like you could try,
True.
like, but you would never like, you know what I mean? The kind of standards that we hold ourselves
We
really
hold some
impossible.
high standards for ourselves, and I
Right.
think, yeah, so it can get pretty crazy, but
Right.
like there are some things that just like I have to say, like I'm so thankful that you're honest with me, because honesty is something I really, really, really treasure in a friendship, and
Right.
in my female friendships, especially because y'all are going through similar things that I'm going through. So I know you see me,
Yeah.
and so my struggle, right? And
Yeah.
another woman's going to understand my struggle and see me and call me out on it. And
Right.
I
But
love
here's the
that.
difference though. We have a reciprocal relationship. Like it's
Yes.
not like one person's always taking and the other person's always giving. And
No, no, no.
that
It's
yeah,
definitely cyclical,
yeah,
back and forth, and yeah.
yeah. And that's how it should be in any relationship. So if you have a friendship that right now that you're in, or any relationship where you're constantly giving, 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 or you're the one taking, 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 and your partner can't get any comfort from you because you don't have time for it because you're too wrapped up in your own shit, then it's you that's the problem. You're the
Yeah.
problem, and you need to get out of that relationship and then do the work by yourself for that, and then eventually come back in and heal the rest of it up with another partner. But if you're getting nothing in return, like, dude, like that's self abuse.
Yeah, it really is. You need to expect what you give. And
Yeah,
that's
yep.
pretty much it. But if you don't get it, it's not because you shouldn't have expected it. It's just because that pairing isn't correct. And well,
Right.
that's a
Yeah.
whole other show. That's a whole other thing. But
No, no, no. Like, let me say. So, okay, my boyfriend Nick is amazing. And like everybody's met him now, right? You guys all met him. You met him all in a month.
Mhm.
Really, he's great. And when I have had moments of almost freaking out about whatever it is, like or thinking I taking something the wrong way because that's my knee-jerk reaction to it. I have been able to, first of all, contact her and be like, la, 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 go crazy to her. She'll be like, okay, wait, stop, Cole, hold back. And then I have to take a step back and look at things. And then when I do actually, send some coherent, not crazy long paragraph situation, like psycho shit, like, but just like, hey, am I misunderstanding something or whatever? The stuff I get back, Stephanie, is like what? Like 1,000 times more than I ever could have imagined would be an appropriate answer. Like beyond what my brain could have came up with as a satisfactory response. Like beyond that.
right.
I'm like, and to him, it's no big deal because he cares about me and he wants to make sure that I'm okay. So it's begun to dawn on me after many months now. Like I wasn't asking for too much, like everybody said in the past. I was asking
No.
for too much from people that had nothing to give. Like that's the problem.
Right. Right.
So don't
Exactly.
let people gaslight you into telling you that your needs are too much or whatever, because it's just that they're not capable of giving it to you. That's all.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
It is.
exactly. And also it's so great to have other people to bounce those things off of.
I know
And
people
and
say though,
and
like that it's toxic to do that. Like people will say, like you shouldn't be sharing your, all your stuff with your
I'm
friends.
gonna disagree on that, and I'll tell you why. Because when you have people who are magical, it's different. This is not the norm. The things that we experience on the daily are not normal things. So already it makes us, odd, right?
Well,
Weird,
yeah,
whatever you want to call it, traumatized.
yeah,
So our perceptions are different. And so, of
right.
course, we need to bounce it off of somebody else who understands that our perception is off, because
And
it's going to
that's
affect
science.
them.
There's science behind this now, by the way. Since the last time we had our show, there's been some new discoveries about neurodivergence and the like magic. Okay, so it is now known for sure that people that are psychic, whatever, neurodivergent, because everyone that's psychic is neurodivergent. Okay, because by definition, neurodivergence is not working the same as everybody else, right? The brain is not working the
Right.
same. If
We don't
you're
work the same.
you don't work the same. But why? It's inherited, guys. Oh my gosh, this is like a big deal. Like, so I was right. I'm just gonna say this. I was freaking right. Okay? I've been saying this. If you've been watching this show since we started, or even last year, like whatever, you've heard me say that I believe that it's not supernatural, that it is a function of nature and survivalism, and that it's inherited. And Dun, dun, dun. Guess what? I'm right. It is right. So they found that people that have psychic abilities and are which are also people that are neurodivergent, right, have a like a grouping of basal ganglia of cells in the caudate the caudate putamen area of the brain, which guess what that controls? Perception abilities and intuition. So there's
Ah.
more cells. There's a huge grouping of cells in this area of the brain. So we have more synapses, more pathways. We're able to see the details that other people don't see. They're able to see the different things. So it's not even supernatural. It's just being able to pick out little cues from the environment that other people are oblivious to because their brain isn't designed that way to pick it up, and whereas ours is. And that's the difference. And it's also an inherited trait from your
Yes, it
parents.
is.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So
That's
there's
gotta
that.
be a whole other episode because,
Yeah.
like, we know so many psychics that also have autistic children. We'll have to
Oh,
talk
dude, I
about
just
that on
took that
another one.
test. Guess what, y'all? I scored this cutoff was 134. I scored 171 for autism. Oh well. Oh well. I was like, okay, I guess it makes sense. I don't know.
It
I
does.
just
It totally makes sense.
It just the
But
definition of it has changed over the years. I'm just saying, like what we used to call that compared to now, what it is not the same thing.
it's a whole
I don't,
different
it's
thing.
not. I
Yeah.
don't know.
We'll have to do a whole episode on that one. But okay, so to
Yeah.
surmise why we should be healing as
Yep.
magicians is because we're going to be more effective, we're going to be more powerful, less things will happen that are super crazy,
Yep.
and you might just make your life better.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit, and not just your life, but the people around you,
Right?
because everyone has to deal with your shit, right? Like it's a fact.
Yes.
Like I mean, we all know those people that are downer, Debbie Downers, right? Like I'm one of those people. I will
Nobody
tell you
wants to be around
doesn't
them.
facts about things. Like that's just my weird thing I do. But like Debbie Downer, like where it's like like that SNL skit where everyone's having a fun time, and then that Rachel Dratch is like, well, amoebas will eat your brain. I don't know, like some just random ass shit. It's like you don't like that. Like it's our kids specifically, kids pick up on the trauma that you're experiencing so much, and they will always blame themselves for it. No matter what the
Yes,
cause is,
true.
children will think it's their fault, and now they're gonna have a complex about that, and now the cycle of trauma perpetuates itself again. So,
Mhm.
if not for yourself, for your kids or the people that you love, get on it, get on that healing shit. Just saying. But yeah, do you guys want to
So,
do
how
some
about we
questions?
open up the chat and ask us
Yeah,
any questions you want, and also your psychic questions? Give them to us,
yeah.
lay it on us.
Oh, yeah, I gotta
We're
get my
ready
cards.
to
Hang on. Let's
go.
see. Let me get my new deck. Uh,
I've decided as a magical practitioner, my final form is just going to be I'm going to be like a 4'10" Asian man on a hill. I'm going to live in a hut. I'm going to wear a sarong all the time. I'm going to have like one tooth, I am going to
uh-huh.
have a shirt that says like enjoy a Coke or something. I don't know. And that's it. That's where I'm going to be. Like after this, there's nothing else except that.
So one tooth existence. Okay, got it. Lovely. Not giving a shit. Okay, seeing messages.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Any
So
messages? Let's see. Noelle, do you have an issue with a female right now? I see somebody walking in and out of your life over and over again.
fair with the friends.
Yeah.
I hate that. See it in a while. Let's see what we got. 8 of Wands.
My sister, if anyone. Okay. Are you having issues with her? You're gonna have issues with her if you don't right now. Like I'm seeing that. Like there's something going on where you're gonna have some turmoil. Just be aware, keep a chill head. But I see issues about her and
Bye,
money.
Jackie. Oh, Jackie said hi, but she has to go. Bye, Jackie. Nice to see you.
Bye, Jackie. And Marisol, should I focus on my business or school as a priority? Thanks. Marisol, I think it's gonna be school. I really feel you should be going to school.
Yeah, school's I mean, your business can be on the side of school, but school is gonna be
It has to happen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you know, I'm a professor, so I'm always gonna say that. But that is what the card said too. So.
Yeah, and that's what my channel said. So
yeah. So yeah. School. By the way, you guys, Stephanie came for my birthday and I had the best birthday. This year, the first time I've had a great birthday for 2 weeks in a row. Okay, that's the longest I've ever had one too. My boyfriend bought me a gift for my birthday, but it wasn't even a gift. It was like the presents. He came and he made dinner and stayed the weekend with his daughter in my house. It was lovely. We took the kids out. We did some fun stuff, like family shit. And I never in a million years but I thought that would be my preferred day, but it was awesome. And then the last weekend, Stephanie came and she decorated my outside. It looked amazing, like so cool. And my friends came, everybody showed up, which was crazy.
Yeah.
And
we had fun.
It was like a soiree. It wasn't a party, but it was a soiree.
Oh, Marisol will start school Monday. Yes, good. And Noelle says no surprise there. I will keep that in mind on my reading. Okay, good guys. Thank you. And Anna's party was amazing, and we had a seance.
We did.
We had a seance, and there were so many spirits.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Like they didn't tell us anything helpful, but like they were just like there. But yeah, and then my boyfriend did like the coolest thing. He like did a little history lesson about it. It was so cute. I was like,
it was.
Dude, it was great. It was great. I had like greatest times. First time ever that my birthday wasn't forgotten. And then we went to that lovely restaurant, which was really, really.
We did. Yeah, 70 beautiful dinner.
My favorite new restaurant for sure. Like, it's a gorgeous place. Like, it looked like we were in a Amazon jungle, right? Like that.
Right. Yeah, that's Bakari and I think it's Los Angeles. Yeah.
Silver Lake. Yeah.
Silver Lake. Yeah, it was gorgeous.
Yep. Anybody else have questions?
And also, I want to say that was something that we did on our healing journey as well. While you guys think of your questions, Anna and I did this thing where we give ourselves beautiful things. We don't hold back. We don't wait for those special moments for somebody else to gift us it. We just absolutely go for it.
Yeah, because like trauma that I had before was like being bullied for like being poor, and so
same.
And for clothes, like my clothes, like being secondhand or like Family Bargain Center or some shit. So now, like, I mean, I'm gonna admit that I have a clothes shopping problem, like now, but I keep it in my budget. Like, I'm not out of my budget on it. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I gotta chill it out because I don't have space. Not because I don't have the money for it. Just like space is a problem. But yeah, like anything from my childhood that I wanted back in the day that I wouldn't get, like I went and got it for myself.
Right. And that was the other thing this year too. I was like, I could go get you a gift, but we're both at the age where if we want something, we go get it for ourselves, you know?
Yeah.
But the thing is that we need experiences with people. Like that's the things that really last with us and their memories that we're creating. And that's also reframing things in our heads for the things that we experienced before, right? And so this was part of that healing, is like giving ourselves these beautiful things instead of attaching it to validity or value of ourselves.
Well, I mean, like, so prior to this year, my reality for my birthday was that it sucks always and it's shitty and like everybody forgets it, because that has literally been consistently what happened every year. But this one time that this did not happen that way has now reframed my entire feeling about
Twice?
birthday. Yeah, no, you know what I mean? Like twice. What did we do last year?
We
Oh
went to
yeah,
San
birthday in San
Diego.
Diego. Okay. But I meant like, you know what I mean? Like that last year I meant with I specifically meant like with boyfriends things, you know, because they always forget about me.
Yes, I
Always.
got you.
And even though I never forget about them, like, so yeah, that was August 8th, right? When we went to San Diego. It was so much fun. But like, yeah, this year changed all that, like completely. It was like, yeah, everything's good. Now I have like nice fond memories of it instead of like,
It rewrote the narrative, right?
mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, and you know, I heard a thing earlier today, which really stressed me out. When you celebrate a birthday, you're celebrating the end of that year, not the beginning of it. Because your first
Ugh,
birthday after you're 12 months old.
ugh, I don't like that at all.
I don't either. So I guess I'm
No,
47 now.
Anna.
Like,
No, shut up, stop it. No, ew, no. I don't like
you
it.
Debbie Downer. I
No.
did the Debbie Downer thing right now. See,
You
that's why.
did.
I just saw that earlier right before I came on here, and I was like, I don't like her. Like this lady that said it, I was like, bitch, I'm sure. Oh, anyways, yeah. So, yeah, they
All
are
right.
most
Well,
all
yes,
right.
I agree. And thank you guys. We're so glad
Yep,
we're back too, and we will see you next week.
yep,
And
I agree.
look for the posting of the show. Much love.
Bye, guys.